Hi TGC Fam, welcome back to Tall Girl Chronicles. So for today's video, we're going to be talking about a touchy subject, which is finances. Why finances today? I just thought it was a good subject to touch on because we're going through a pandemic. A lot of people are losing their jobs. A lot of us have a certain level of uncertainty as to what is going to happen to our job. So I figure I could just talk about some things that we could do to save money in this time. Even though we still have our jobs, we can make some adjustments just to prepare for anything that can happen in the future. And this can be in reference to anything in life, not just this pandemic, but we should always be budgeting and doing certain things in preparation for anything that can happen in the future. So if you guys want to hear some tips and tricks that I have, stay tuned. So the first tip that I have is that you should analyze your debt and see how much debt you have and reduce it as much as possible. Debt includes all of your loans, your credit cards, people that you owe, even if it's just for some sweetie money, anything that you have named debt, write it all down, get it all into one space and look at it and see what you can do to reduce your debt. As it relates to your loans, maybe you have loans at different banks or whatever the case is, I don't know what the loans are for. Maybe you can consolidate all your loans at a bank, at one single bank, and maybe get a different interest rate and then pay off that in one set of payments per month, as opposed to having different loans with different interest rates all over the place. For the loans that you already have and for the loans that you want to get in the future, shop around, see if you can get a better interest rate. Not because you have a savings account or a checking account or a credit card at a bank that means you have to specifically go to that bank just to get that particular loan. Shop around, see what you can get. Banks are always willing to see what they can offer. I remember I've tried to get a loan at one bank for one thing and the other bank, they call around the different banks and figure out, what you have where before they give you a loan. And then the other bank called and said, hey, we noticed that you're trying to get a loan such and such place. What if we offer you such and such deal? And boom, I got a better deal than I was getting before had I just gone to them straight off the bat, because I was going somewhere else, they offered me a better deal. So sometimes, when you shop around, that shopping around actually pushes that bank that you're already with to offer you something better because they realize you're going somewhere else. So these things can happen. As it relates to your credit card, stop spending money. Look at your credit card, look at your debit card as well and see what you're spending money on. Look at your statements. Is it just groceries? Are you shopping here, there and everywhere? Are you buying clothes? It's a pandemic. We ain't going nowhere. You shouldn't be buying clothes. Are you buying shoes? It's a pandemic. We ain't going nowhere. You shouldn't be buying shoes. Look at your statements and see if you're buying things that you want as opposed to things that you need. If there are things that you're buying that you don't need, stop buying them now. At the end of the day, we should have at least 6 months savings if we were to lose our job today. Think about every time you make a purchase, think about this. If you were to lose your job today, would you have enough money left back to serve you for the next 6 months? And that not just you, but you and your family. For me, I'm single, so it's just me. There's a level of comfort in knowing it's just you. But when you have a family, a husband, wife, kids, whoever else lives with you, you got to be able to take care of them if you lose your job. So anytime you're going to swipe that card or punch that card into a website, see if it's something that you really need and just reflect on if you don't have that in the future and you don't have your job now, how is it going to affect you? One thing I say, cut up your credit card. If you don't want to be spending any more money, cut up the credit card, dash it away, and don't go and get a new one. Just cut it up and just continue to pay off your bills. Now, what I would suggest is not to make minimum payments. Minimum payments will drag out that balance that you have pending over a long period of time, and they the bank just charges interest on you. Make as much on that payment as you can. That just makes the bank make more money off of you, and that's not the aim, okay? You're trying to save money. If you're in a lot of debt, find somebody who knows how to help you. You may not be able to afford somebody, but you may know somebody who studied finance or who's good with maths. So just the basics, find somebody to help you. You may feel some type of way about finding someone to help you and having them in your business and being aware of the fact that you're broke or you're in debt, but think about in the long run, if you see that same person see you on the street, you're not gonna be more ashamed for them see you on the street broke and you ain't got nothing in the future, rather than just asking them now for help and then you and them can be rich and sanctified in the future. I'm just saying, think about it. What about getting another job, finding another hustle? Maybe there's something that you can do on the side to make money, sell something on the side, help out somebody on the side, anything that you can do to make a little extra money. And maybe you can just put that money towards a particular thing that you're saving for, or just your emergency fund, or whatever it is. Just find a side hustle, something to just give you some additional means of income in order to save towards the things that you want in the future, the things that you need right now, and the possibility of anything happening unexpectedly. One other tip that I have is to set goals. When you have goals, you work towards them. So if you just have money, you have your job, you have your money, you're spending on the little things here and there, but you have no goals, nothing you're working towards, you're not going to put so much effort into saving your money. So if you have a goal, you want to build a house, you want to buy a car, you want to buy this gift for somebody, it could be anything. That goal could be you want to buy a Snickers bar tomorrow, you save your 50, I don't know how much Snickers cost, not 50 cents, but you save your $1 today, your $2 over the next couple of days, so you can buy a Snickers bar on Friday. Once you have a goal set, it's easier for you to work towards that goal, okay? You may not think some of these goals require money, but most goals require money in some way, shape, or form. Think about all your goals, write them down, and then maybe put those goals in some place that remind you on a daily basis what you're working towards. Set up your accounts in such a way that you put your money is coming out and going straight into certain accounts to save money. Just work towards those goals as much as possible. Keep them in the back of your mind, so whenever you go out to take money out of your wallet or swipe that card, you remember, oh yes, we have that goal. Stick that goal at the back of your credit card or your wallet. Stick it somewhere so you can remember, okay? Review your bank charges. See what type of accounts you have. See what type of charges come out of your account. I know when I first got an account when I was younger, I was not looking on my account to see what charge. I know I spent a certain amount of money and I made glimpse and I see, okay, $100 came up for that. I was comforted in knowing that, okay, things were right, but I never really analyzed my bank statements. I remember one time I went in and just analyzed everything, and they were charged $10 charges, $15 charges coming up for stuff that I just did not know why they were coming out. So then I changed the type of account to limit me from going into the bank, because realistically in these days and times you don't really need to be going into a bank to do certain transactions. So I got an account that just allowed me to do everything at the ATM, and if I did go inside, then they would charge me. So analyze your account. Make sure you know what kind of account you have when you're setting it up, because a lot of times the customer service reps when you go into the bank just want to sign you up to get this bank account. A lot of times some of them don't explain in detail, just like the person who signed up my account, what exactly you're getting yourself into and the charges that will be there. And then you sign off on something and all of that is in the document you sign up, but then you don't read it because that customer service rep is just giving you this level of comfort to know that you just sign up, you just save it, and you get this interest rate. They tell you all the good things, but they don't tell you the bad things if you do certain things. So just analyze the type of accounts that you have. Analyze your statements, see if there's anything other than what you're spending and what you're saving going in and coming out, and just check it to see and maybe change the type of account you have. I don't know where they came up with these types of accounts to be charging you things for using your own money, but not today, Jesus. We live in an age where everything is online, everything is technology, everything is swipe your card, so you have to pay attention. It's not just cash coming out and you're giving somebody cash now these days. You're using your debit cards, you're using your credit cards, and you have to analyze what charges are coming from the bank out of your accounts. One other tip, save at different banks. I remembered when I wanted to be super strict with saving money, I went and found a bank that didn't have ATM machines, that was in a location that I knew I didn't want to drive to, and I opened an account there. The reason why I did that was because I know I was never going to want to drive all the way down there and stand up in no crowd to get no money out of no bank and stand in no line. I also didn't want to have ATM access or a debit card access to that account because I just wanted it to be there and save. If you know yourself, if you know there's a certain level of spending that you do or are accustomed to doing, hide that money from yourself as much as possible. Put your money at different banks. When you open these accounts, don't attach them to debit cards. Don't get a debit card, just get a savings account. Get one of them old school savings account where you have to go in the line and stand up in the line and go to the teller and get your money. When you think about having to go through all of that, you're just gonna save money. At least for me, I hate standing in a line. So for me, that's one way that I know how to save money. If there are things that you know that are pet peeves for you when it comes to dealing with the banks and stuff, do implement that with your savings account so that you don't end up going into the bank and then getting money. When you're opening savings accounts as well, or opening investment accounts, shop around. As I said, when it comes to shopping around for anything, it's both applicable to loans and savings. Shop around, see what accounts that you can get with higher interest rates and return on your investment so that you can save and gain as much income on that savings as possible, because at the end of the day you're just putting it there to make money. That particular type of account that I'm talking about, you're just putting it there to make money. That's an investment. So find a bank or find a type of account where you're able to make as much interest as possible and leave that there, because you can just leave that there and in 20 years you can have a lump sum of money there just because of that interest rate that you shopped around for. It's just something that an account they're looking for to leave your money and to make money for you while you're not having to do anything in the background. Look for investments. See what type of investments that you can make out there. Shop around in your country. Everything is different in different countries. Some places have stock markets, some I don't know. how everything is in different countries, but see what type of investments you can make. If you can afford a financial advisor, get a financial advisor. If you have a friend in college who's doing finance, or you as an older person have a niece or nephew in college doing finance, ask them for help. Be smart with what you have around you and use it to your advantage. Find help and see the ways that you can make certain investments. There's a level of risk that you can have with each investment. You can have low risk investments, high risk investments. That's just depending on you and what you're willing to lose in the process, and what you can afford to lose in the process, I should say. So shop around, see what you can do your research on your own. One thing that I always tell people, Google exists. You can find anything on Google. When people tell me they don't know how to do something, I get very annoyed, because you can learn how to do anything on Google without an educational background whatsoever. Okay, speak to the customer service reps who opened your account and see what, our personal bankers, and see what they can offer you, and ask questions. Ask people how they save money, how they invest. I said, use the tools that you have around you. One thing that I absolutely love to do is save money while I'm spending money, and what I mean by that is using cashback opportunities or discount codes to find things. I have a problem. I have a shopping problem. I'll be upfront. I just have things for no reason, and I'm aware of it, and I try to find ways to work on it. But one thing that I know is once I go shopping online, I find a discount code for whatever website I'm on. Okay? Find you a discount. Google is your best friend. If I'm going on a website, and what will deter me, I will go shopping. Like, I will shop down an online store and then get ready to check out. Two things that will deter me: the shipping, and if I can't get a discount code. And I will just X out everything that I just put in that basket and just move right along and just continue to do what I'm ever supposed to be doing in the first place. There are always discount codes out there. Sometimes people have a discount and they just take a picture of it and they just put it out in the universe for somebody else to use, because they don't need it. You can go on Instagram, type in a hashtag for a store or discount code or anything, and find discount codes there. You can go into Google, find a discount code there. You can download apps that tells you the discount codes to different stores. You can find discount codes all over the place. Go and find them, and if you don't find them, don't buy nothing. That's how I do it. One other thing that I use is Ebates. Ebates is a godsend. I have gotten back hundreds of dollars on Ebates directly into my account. Okay, US, not EC. I'm from the Caribbean. I'm talking about US. Hi guys, I just wanted to take a quick pause just to let you know that I actually have some links down below for Ebates and Lyft and all the other discount codes that I was referring to. If you guys want to take this opportunity to save some money while you shop, you should take a look in my description box. When I go shopping, I shop through Ebates. So on my computer, I have the extension in my internet browser. So once I go on a website, there'll be a pop-up that says you can get such and such cashback from this particular company if you buy there. On my phone, I have the Ebates app. So I open up the app, I can go into the app and then shop through the app at different stores once they offer cashback for that store. Even if I'm in Safari, I have an iPhone. If I'm in Safari, there's an extension for Safari that you can add the Ebates to your Safari browser. And actually, once you're on a website, you go and click on it, and then it tells you if there's any cashback being offered for that company or not. And then once you select it, it registers to the rest of your shopping process. So there are different ways you can get cashback. There's a website called Be Frugal that you can also use. So I have all of those extensions attached on my computer browser, so that no matter what website I go on, all those different extensions will pop up and say you can get cashback for this and cashback for that. Some may offer cashback for one, some may not. So it's good to have multiple options. I'm sure there are more out there that I myself am not aware of, but you can again do your research. But Ebates, which is now called Rakuten or Rakuten, I don't know how you pronounce it, but they've always been faithful to me, so that's kind of my go-to so far. And even if I'm in the Caribbean, I hook up Ebates to my PayPal account, and then I hook up my PayPal account to my bank account. So when I get the cash back through PayPal, then I just withdraw that money from PayPal into my bank account, and that's money in my hands right there, just for spending money before. And of course, you get that cash back at different intervals, like every 3 months or so, I believe it is. And then even, for example, I remember one time I was traveling, I was in Old Navy standing in a line, and my cashback came in that same time I was at Old Navy standing in a line. And then they said you can either get your cashback in cash or you can get it in a gift card. Immediately, I'm already in Old Navy line, I'm standing there, and immediately I was able to get a gift card for that purchase that I was standing in there at that time to get a discount. Listen, I was too happy. I wanted to go and snatch up more things, but the line was too long and nobody was going to hold my to it. So, I mean, these are just the kind of things that can happen to you when you shop smartly and try and save your money as much as possible. Other ways that you can get discount codes or have cashback, even with Lyft. When I'm traveling, Lyft or what's the other one? I don't use the other one, Uber, but I'm a Lyft girl. When I use Lyft, you share your codes with the world so that people can sign up, and then you can in turn get a $10 discount code in the future. There are different ways that you can share your discount codes with people, share links with people to say, hey, join up. If you sign up, I get $10, you get $10. These are the ways that you can get money back. Even with my credit card, whenever I swipe it, I get miles. What my strategy is for getting airline miles is to, when I go shopping, example grocery shopping, I will swipe my credit card. Then once I'm done shopping, immediately as I sit down in the vehicle, I transfer that money from my savings to my credit card as a payment. So if, for example, I spent $300 in the supermarket, once I get back in my vehicle, I transfer that $300 over to my credit card as a payment, so it doesn't register that I should be charged any interest for that purchase made. But what happens is I then end up getting airline credits for that. So if I had just used my debit card, I wouldn't have gotten anything back, but I used my credit card, pay off my credit card at the same time, and then got airline credit. In the future, I can use that airline credit to book flights, to rent cars, to book hotels, to do whatever you want to do. So when you have, especially it works really well if you have large purchases to make. So if you have a large purchase to make, do it through your credit card, but do it in a way that you're able to pay it off as soon as you make that purchase, so that you don't get interest rate charge on that outstanding balance. So I always say, don't do it near a time when you know that your balance, you need to pay your bill, or like when your billing cycle ends, don't do it near that time, because it may be a case where you go your shopping and you don't immediately transfer the money, then you get home, you get distracted, you forget to transfer the money, next thing your bill, June the next day, they charging you interest on that bill for something that you could mindfully afford, but you just didn't remember to pay for. So maybe avoid doing it around the end of your billing cycle. One other thing that you may need to do is get rid of people in your life who encourage you to spend money. Sometimes you have people, and then I'm not saying that they're bad people, they're just encouraging to go to movies or to go and buy this, or let's go out for dinner. I mean, I'm the dinner person, so if I've encouraged you to that, I'm sorry, because I love a good meal. But get rid of people who are encouraging you to spend money unnecessarily. Get rid of people who, if they weren't in your life, you probably wouldn't have spent that money that you spent. Not saying to X them out of your life completely, but just push them to the side a little bit until you can maybe get your finances under control, and then you can maybe incorporate them back into your friendship in a way that doesn't involve them encouraging you to spend money all the time whenever you're together. One trick for me that I know I had to do was unsubscribe from all these people sending you emails about sales. The bulk of my shopping is done online. So unsubscribe from these emails of people sending you sales of this and that. Unsubscribe from them all. Unless there's one big ticket item that you've been waiting to go on sale, and then you're just waiting for that to print. You have the money for it, you're just waiting for maybe a little sale to tap in, to take an advantage of that. Otherwise, unsubscribe to all these little sales, because every time a little sale pop up, you feel you need something when you don't really need it. You just want it because you see a sale. Unsubscribe. You hear me? Want to buy something, they usually have like a little checkbox at the bottom that subscribes you. Even if you don't pay attention, they just subscribe you to their newsletters or whatever it is they send out. Make sure you pay attention to that when you're signing up or buying something from a company for the first time, okay? Unsubscribe. Can't say me never tell you. Set up standing orders on your account. If you know you're not disciplined enough to take money from this account to that account, if they're at different banks or whatever the case is, set up a standing order that will do it for you automatically. Yes, I know standing order is an additional charge, but at the end of the day, if you're not disciplined, it's cheaper for you to just have that charge put through than for you to lose money and not save money in the long run. So weigh your options and see what is a better option for you in the long run. Now you're thinking, oh, I can save so much, $5 over a certain period of time. Yes, but then if you don't ever remember to put money on your savings, then what's gonna happen then? You're not gonna have hundreds of dollars in the long run. So analyze how you make decisions and how disciplined you are with things, and implement certain things that are able to help you. You know yourself. Nobody knows you better than you. You know yourself. Know yourself in such a way where you're able to implement things to help your own self, okay? Put reminders on your phone. One thing that I did for myself was I did a budget, and then after I did a budget, I knew how much I had to save. I put a reminder in my phone for the days that I get paid to tell me that I'm not able to spend this much money. For example, if I were to get paid $1,000 a month, and I know that of that $1,000, $800 for example, I have to put in savings, I have to pay my loans, I have to pay my bills. I put in a reminder to tell myself, Remember, $800 is not yours. You only have $200 to spend. So if I felt like spending any of that money, I would be reminded that that's all I have to spend. I mean, granted, I know in the back of my heart and my mind and my soul that I don't have the money, but sometimes you just see this money in your account and you're just ready to spend it, even though you know you can't afford anything that you're about to spend on. So I put a reminder in my phone just to remind me, remember, this money is not yours. This money is going here, there, and everywhere. Or if you have a goal, remember, this money is not yours because you want to buy a house in the future. Remember, this money is not yours because you want to buy a car in the future. Remember, this money is not yours. Okay, it's yours, but it ain't. Reduce your utilities as much as possible. See the things that you can cut down on. Review your bills. See what are the things that are on in your house all the time. I don't use my AC at night. That's one way of being strict. Don't leave things plugged in. Don't leave phones on the charger. If it's done charging, take it off the charger. Just find ways. Don't leave on all your light switches. You don't need all those lights. If you're not reading something, why do you have a light on? If you're sitting and watching TV, honestly, why do you have a light on? I don't even understand the concept of having a TV. Light on with the TV, but whatever. Turn lights off. Find ways. Use less things. If you have a curling iron or flat iron or whatever people use, I don't know. People have so many electronics these days. Just unplug everything and turn it off when you're not using it. Okay? Don't leave the fridge door open. Just make smart decisions. Check behind your kids just to make sure that they're doing things that they're supposed to do. One thing that I am going to show you guys how I do is to do a budget. Doing a budget can help you to save significant money. When I sat down and did my budget, I was like, I can't believe where my money has been going. Like, I knew I was spending my money, but I could not believe where the bulk of it was going, or the different areas that it was going into that I did not need it to go into. Okay, so when I prepared my budget, I was able to save a lot more money and I was able to reduce my debt significantly. So I'm actually going to show you guys in another video how to do a budget and how to save and how to reduce your debt as much as possible. One other thing that you can do is identify areas that you're spending too much money on. Are you eating out all the time? You probably don't need to be doing that anymore. Are you going to the spa? Are you doing your nails? Are you going to the hairdresser all the time? Sit down and analyze the things that you're doing and remove those things. If you can only maybe go and do something once a month. I know sometimes we need to get away from our lives and just have a pamper day, which I understand. But not every week. I'm sorry. What are you doing at the hairdresser every week? We have all gone through that phase. It makes no sense. So maybe do your hairstyle a little bit different. Get some wigs. Do something, you know. Find out maybe more hairstyles you can do with your natural hair. I'm still in that process. I don't know what to do with this hair, but that's a whole other story. Even for your mobile bill, there are certain bills that you have and maybe certain services that you have. You can probably downgrade them. Downgrade them if you don't need what they're providing. For example, if you have a phone bill and it's providing you with 100 megabytes, 1,000 megabytes of internet, I don't remember how the bytes go, but I'm just giving an example. And then you have Wi-Fi at home, you have Wi-Fi at work. The only place you really need to have that data is in your vehicle driving to either home or work, or in between those two places. Then maybe you don't need a phone bill that gives you that much data. Maybe you can reduce that data. Maybe you don't need a phone bill that gives you 1 million talk minutes when you don't talk on the phone like myself. I'm not a talker. I don't send text messages. I need data and Wi-Fi more than anything else. So maybe focus those bills on the things you need, and maybe that's a way that you can reduce some of your expenses on a month-to-month basis. Netflix and cable and all these things, these are other things, services that you have, monthly services that you have. If you don't need them, don't get them. I have cable. I do not watch cable. I really just have cable in case something happened locally and I need to pop onto local news. But honestly, I don't really need cable. That's a charge I can get rid of. And honestly, you can get the news on the internet now. But I just have it as a backup just in case Wi-Fi pop down. I have a backup. Your Netflix charges as well. Listen, everybody know half of the world is on somebody else's Netflix account. You can also be on somebody else's Netflix account. Even if you don't want to be, maybe go half with somebody on the charges so that you don't have to solely pay the charges for Netflix. And I know it's just a little bit of money in your mind, in some people's mind anyway. It might just be a little. I don't know how much it costs now, $7. I really don't know. I don't know how much it costs now, but you can reduce those costs in some way. Go on somebody's Netflix account, pay them a little change every month instead of paying the full amount for just you purchasing for your TV alone or whatever the case is. And I just want to reiterate that we should not be relying on job security. Some of us have jobs that have been unaffected by this whole pandemic, which is fine, which is great, which is lovely, but don't let that allow you to get comfortable in thinking that you cannot lose your job in a split second, because you can. And that is, since this pandemic has started, that has been my biggest fear, losing this job and then having to figure out what do I need to do. Yes, I have the funds saved up that if it does happen, it happens, but at the end of the day, no matter how much funds you have saved up, you're always gonna have some kind of panic attack feeling once you lose a job. So don't ever feel like you have job security. No matter what job you have, unless you own your own company, and even when you're an entrepreneur, there's no security because your business can go in 2 seconds. There's no level of security you can have when it comes to your business or your job, unless you're just a rich man and you can just lose whatever you want. Then you probably won't be watching this video. Remind yourself of these things when you're spending your money. Anytime you're about to make a purchase, if it's not groceries and things that you need, ask yourself, is this something I need? Is this going to be beneficial to me and my family? Or if you have a family, is this going to be beneficial to me and my family? Then no. Is this something I need? Then no. Is this something that's going to benefit me and make my life significantly better on a day-to-day basis? Then no. Is this just something that I can wear to an event that I don't even know is going to happen yet? Yes. Don't buy it. But you're always disposable when you're on a job, always disposable. So just be prepared as possible and put things in place just in case you're disposed of. Anyways, those are my tips, TGC fam. I hope they're helpful to you. If you have any other tips, please link them down below. I know I don't have all the tips in the world. These are just things that I've come across and experienced in my life and have had to implement. Some of them I've had to implement in my life so far. And I speak from a perspective of a single person because I've never had kids. So there's probably more advice that I can give you. But because I'm so not aware of the other things that can happen with kids, I can only give you my perspective and my advice. So if you guys have additional tips, I'd be happy to hear them. I'm open to even implementing them for myself once it's applicable to me. And let me know if you guys enjoyed this video, okay? I really felt a need to do this video during these times because I know I've had a level of unsettledness as it relates to job security, and I'm sure a lot of people around the world have seen how many people are out of jobs right now. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please like it, please subscribe, please share this with other people, and of course turn your post notifications on and ensure you come back for the next video. Bye TGC fam.